Hello out there to all of my fellow gold diggers. This is your girl Rita, also known as the self-proclaimed gold digger. Welcome to my channel where I discuss my life as a wife, mom, entrepreneur, and business owner, all while trying to crush and achieve my goals. It is Sunday evening, and on Sundays we usually have our mystery shopping Q&A, but today I'm very excited. I have a very special guest. Her name is Laura. If you have been on any of the lives, you have probably seen her popping into the comments and sharing her insight. Laura used to be a mystery shopping company employee. So we are going to be able to ask her some questions, get some behind the scenes tea about what goes on in the mystery shopping industry and answer some of your questions. So if you have any questions about mystery shopping, some of the behind the scenes stuff, please be sure to put it in the chat so that we can ask Laura and so that she can give us her insight about it. Also, if you are new to the channel, welcome. I'm very glad to have you. And if you are a fellow gold digger, as always, welcome back. So Laura is a fellow gold digger, and once again, it's GOAL, so there's no confusion. So, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring Laura on stage with me. So, y'all, please welcome Laura.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, Laura. So glad to have you. I'm so glad you agreed to do this with us. So, I definitely appreciate that.
No
But
problem.
before we get into the nitty gritty of maybe what's the behind the scenes of mystery shopping, do you mind just sharing a little bit about yourself, how you might have gotten introduced to mystery shopping, that kind of thing, whatever you're willing to share?
No problem. I first started mystery shopping in 2008. I only did a few back then and really didn't get into it more. I've never done it full time, but I've done it close to full time. Really got into it in about 2012 and have done it consistently other than I was sick for a little while, took a year off, but pretty much overall 14 years now, I guess, 13,
I
14
can say
years.
that you've been in the game for a long time. So that is a long time. So we have a couple of people coming in and saying hello. I'm gonna grab those comments really quickly. So Catherine, she likes to tune in as well. She says hello, all, especially to our leader,
Hi,
Sister Gold
Catherine.
Digger, and others. Oh, thank you, Catherine, as always. Miss Yvette,
Is that? Hello.
she is here. Miss Yvette is also a veteran in the mystery shopping game. So thank y'all for joining and giving Laura such a warm welcome. April, hey April.
Hi,
April is one of
April.
our mystery shopping goats, greatest of all time, because she usually
She
is pulling
is.
the bag. Yeah, she is collecting several bags. And let's see, Rochelle P. Hello to you, Rochelle. Your name seems new, so welcome if this is your first time. And then Cynthia always usually joins. Hello. And Queen T. It's been a while since I've seen your name. So hello to Queen T as well. All right. So if
Hi,
you have any
everybody.
questions, yes. I'm sorry, Laura.
No, I was just saying hi to
I'm
everybody.
overtaking the conversation. But if y'all have any questions for Laura, please feel free to put them in the chat. I'm going to ask her some more questions. We will keep it probably to right at an hour so we can be respectful of Laura's time and also y'all's time as well. So, Laura, you said that you've been doing mystery shopping for about 14 years. How did you get introduced to actually working for a mystery shopping company? Like, how did that come about?
I was looking to get a little more into it. Otherwise, I my background's in teaching English, so I like to write and just started looking for different things and just applied as an editor to a well-known company and did a little bit of background training and did that for about 3.5 years.
Now, were you already mystery shopping with that company when you
Yes.
applied? Okay.
Yes,
So that
they do require you to have a few shops under your belt with them, so you're familiar with their company.
okay. And do you mind sharing a little bit about the training? Like I mentioned, Laura might not be able to tell us all the nitty gritty details because of, confidentiality reasons and things like that. So there may be some things y'all might ask that she won't be able to answer just for those purposes. But yeah, what was the training like? Like what I get because I'm like totally naive. I'm like it's
Yep,
editing,
no,
so
that's
I'm not. I'm like what are they wanting y'all to
well,
do?
first of all, they had a big guide you had to read, just everything of their expectations. And then they always have trainers, and you had to be on the phone for 2 hours with a trainer to get some initial training. They did their first few reports with you. Depend, I had a background in writing, so I got through pretty quickly, but they can, depending on how long the person takes, do a few more with them if need be. But then you're on your own, and they may, the team leader may check them over a little more often when you're new, but if there's no
And are
major
they looking
issues, we can just approve the report without going to somebody above us.
now? Are they mainly looking for like grammatical and errors, or what is it?
Yes,
Or
but
punctuation, or
yes, we like that, but
okay.
I can fix that in a report. You need to
Oh,
follow
really?
that.
Oh, so that's not what the training is. I was like,
Well,
are they
no,
making
they
y'all
want
write
you to know
essays?
that. Did they write enough sentences? Were the guidelines followed? Were all, were all the yes and no questions answered? And I know it seems repetitive to sometimes write about a yes answer, but people click the wrong thing sometimes. And that's a
I
big part of
see.
having to explain that.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm thinking y'all just trying to get on my nerves. No.
Well, I used to think that too until I did it. I thought, that seems
So
awful
you
repetitive, but
so it's
um,
pretty much like a check system. Like they're trying to make sure what you clicked also adds up to what your statement says, just to make sure
right.
everything is uniform. Okay. Okay. All right. We had a couple of comments coming in, so I'm going to look for any questions. Had some more people join. Jennifer, she's also saying hello. Uh, Cynthia, you are a mess. Cynthia says, I'm ready for the tea. I cut my date night short so I can get the info firsthand. Well, Cynthia, I am glad. You could have brought hubby on the on the date. He could this could be your date night. And then you're seeing, yeah, you can see the comments for it. And
Yes,
Cynthia
I
also
can.
says she was an English teacher too. See?
Oh,
Oh
great.
yeah, with good writing skills. And then Professor Camille says hello. Good to see you as well. April does have a question, which is actually one of my next questions. Good job, April. You could be an interviewer. She says, what makes a 10-star report? What are they
Well,
looking for?
I will say, you're not going to like this. It can be a little bit subjective. I tell you, like, I've gotten plenty of nines from Ipsos and other companies, and like, why? What did I do? No
Mm-hmm.
feedback. Who knows? Technically, should be perfect if you followed all the guidelines. You didn't have any grammar errors. You included any pictures that needed to be in there. They didn't have to come back and ask you for anything else.
Okay. And that pretty much, if you do a good report, do a good job, you should technically
Right. It
get
is a
10
little bit
stars.
subjective, but unfortunately, but you know what, in the end, if you're getting paid for it and you're getting offered those shops, if you got a 9 instead of a 10, I wouldn't worry about it.
I got a little picky. They gave me, I think they gave me like an 8 or a 9 for, oh, I want to ask you about this too later. And then they put like punctuation issues, and I responded back to them because, because I was like, I said, how am I going to get dinged? I'm summarizing this. I was like, how am I going to get dinged for punctuation issues when your questions didn't even have question marks? Like, like the questions that they were asking me. So I found that I got a little ticked off about that. I'm like, y'all, the question structure that you presented me doesn't even have the proper punctuation, and you're saying that I didn't have proper punctuation where maybe I may have left off a comma and everything. So I don't know. But what I
That
was
is
going
my
to ask
biggest
you
pet
about,
peeve.
say that again.
That's my biggest pet peeve too. I've had that happen a couple of times over the years, and I'm thinking, No, I'm pretty sure I didn't make a mistake, first of all. And second,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, how are y'all grading me? I'm like, did y'all fill out these questions? The question didn't even have a question mark. But um, so what I want to know is, you know how sometimes when you get your report back or whatever, or they give you the grade, and it seems like there are standard messages and that kind of thing. So I'm assuming there standard messages that people just send out, or are you supposed? Do they have it where you have to select a message to send to people? Is it an automated message? Like, how does it work? Because some
I
of them
can't.
seem like they just want to put something out there. Like, they might even give you a 10, and then it's like, please be sure to watch your punctuation. It's like, but I got a 10. What are you saying?
Right. I'm sure they all have something. The company I worked for had automated messages, or you could write something personal, and you should have get something back every time, even if it was automated. I know once or I'm sure more than once or twice actually, but not very often. I'd forget to hit that button to put something, and they didn't get feedback, but I feel terrible. But because once it's gone from my eyes, I don't have the email to go back to.
Uh-oh, Lori, you
So
froze.
keep that in mind. That I'm sure that happens from time to time. It's just a mistake, but in general, I think you should get some kind of feedback every time.
Okay, awesome. Now, I want to know, so behind the scenes, what is kind of like the structure of the mystery shopping company? So you work as an editor for a company. We know there are schedulers that send out the jobs. So can you give us a little bit of information? It's the scheduler, it's the editor. Are there any other people involved in the process? And like, what is the process? Like, I'm assuming y'all get these contracts every month, or y'all have a client who has contracts every month. The
Hmm.
scheduler sends them out. But is that the case, or is there anything else behind the scenes that we're just not aware of?
There are a lot of people behind the scenes. And like I said, I'm only speaking for the company I worked for. I can't say this
Mm-hmm.
happens with every company, but there's project manager who will be in charge of getting the accounts. I worked under her name wasn't, I can't remember what her title was, but it was basically the team leader who's
Okay.
in charge of handing everything out back out to you. You have to go back to them for any issues. If it's not a cut and dried report, they didn't follow a guideline, you have to go through that team leader, even if you're pretty sure, hey, I did it for years, but I still have to go back to them to get their okay. And that
Okay.
person is working a 40-hour week. They're an actual employee, where most of us are independent contractors.
Okay.
Um,
Even the project manager, is the project manager, I'm assuming, salary?
they are salary as well. Most
Okay.
people are not, but and then even as the editor, I had background jobs. I would be on the call reminder team. I had a side doing that. I would get paid hourly for that, but I was still an independent contractor because I could do it within. I'd have to do it on a certain day, but I could pick my hours within reason.
Okay.
I did, I was the video editor for a while. That was another side job. Um, I know I did a couple other quick little things, and I'm trying to think of what they were right now, but there's many little things involved.
Now, with that, as much as you can, so we know the project manager, the team lead, their kind of salary for the mystery shopping company.
Hmm.
Project manager is the one who goes out, secures the contracts
Correct.
for the mystery shopping company. How is that set up? Is it like somebody, are there regional project managers, or are there, and I guess I know you're only speaking for your company, are there project managers who are trying to get restaurants? Are there project managers for retail? Are there project managers for a hotel? Like, do you know how it's like divided up for the
I
recruitment?
never noticed if it was, to my knowledge, it wasn't set up by region or separated from hotels to restaurants, just, whatever was coming up next for that person. I mean, it
Okay.
could be different now. I mean, things have changed with COVID and everything. Who knows if some things have streamlined a little more, but
And then also, how do the clients reach out to you guys? Like, for, like, in terms of the recruitment, like, were companies contacting you guys and saying, "Hey, we have a new, I don't know, promotion coming up, and or we're trying to implement this new training to our team, and we want to see if they're implementing it correctly." Like, I guess I'm wondering, like, how does the mystery shopping company kind of get some of the jobs?
Well, that reminds me, that's another job involved is a recruiter who would help get that kind of business. But I wasn't involved in that very much. I really don't know, but I do
Okay.
know they did have some recruiters.
Okay, to come out and do everything.
Mhm.
So, and then you said the scheduler, the editor, you guys were independent contractors. And so are y'all paid by assignment, the number of assignments that get completed, or how exactly does that work?
Okay. How I was paid is we got paid by the report. There was a flat rate, but with the more difficult reports would have, I wouldn't say it wasn't a bonus per se, but they would have they used a term and I can't remember what it's called right now, but basically a little bit higher of pay going to it. So something, let's say a fast food report, for example, might be $4 or $5, where a hotel report might be $10 or $12 because
I
there's
see.
more to it.
It's
And
more
then also
editing
the
involved.
longer we stayed there, the more we got. And
Oh,
they
okay.
were really
Okay.
good about bonuses and things. If they didn't have to come back to us for a mistake, like if the company didn't come back and say, hey, this was marked incorrectly, sometimes things slip through. If we had no mistakes over each quarter, we would get a bonus.
Oh, wow.
And if we
That's
made no mistakes for the whole year, we'd get a really nice bonus. So they were pretty fair. I mean, the pay might seem low at first, but when you added in all the little extras, it was
And I'm
nice.
assuming the many reports that you're doing as well. And I guess how does that work? So we know the schedulers, or I'm assuming based off of the jobs that are getting sent out, schedulers they have a certain amount of jobs that they're sending out. How are the jobs then divvied up between you guys as the editors, or do you know like I'm assigned to this scheduler and I have to edit all of their jobs?
It doesn't go by the scheduler, it goes by the client because it makes it easier if you're well, not we're not, it doesn't always happen, but they try to do it by the clients as much as possible so you're familiar with that client
I
and you're
see.
editing it. Like there was a storage shop I edited for years and I could do it in my sleep practically. But it's by the client. You could, they wanted you to do a minimum of 4 a day, but you could say, hey, I can do 12 a day, and they'd give you 12 if they had that many for you.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. So you pretty much just said you took on however many your schedule could
Right.
handle. They
But the
didn't go ahead.
right,
I'm sorry.
the more we took, the better it was, especially when it came to those bonuses, because if I only did 100 in a quarter, that's less I'm going to get of a bonus for my perfection rate. Where if I did
Hmm.
300 in a quarter, I'd get a lot more.
Now, do you know kind of like on average for, let's say, I don't know. So say for the shops, I'm just going to use a restaurant shop. So the scheduler has 100 restaurant shops in a particular city that they have
Mhm.
to get done. And it seems like I have noticed it's similar schedulers for the same schedulers for certain companies. Is that also the case for the editors? Are y'all working for some of the same companies?
I don't think that happens as much. I have seen people that edit for more than one company, but I don't see that as much as I do with the scheduling. Editing is in some ways a lot. I wouldn't say an easier job, but it's less hassle than the schedulers go through.
Really? Well, I guess because you know what? I guess my thinking was I see all these jobs coming out, and I'm thinking the editor is having to edit all of those jobs. Like, let's say it's a particular restaurant. I'm thinking there's an editor editing all those restaurant jobs, shops that are coming in. But I'm assuming there's probably a lot more of you guys that are doing the editing versus the schedule.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on how big the client is. Like there's some clients I edited all the reports, but if you have, I don't know if you naming companies, but I'll just throw it out there because we don't do it. Let's say at McDonald's, there's how many in the country? You would have probably everybody on the editing team doing some of
Doing it. Okay. Okay.
them.
That makes sense then. It's just the size of the client, how many editors they might need and everything. Let's see. There's a couple of I'm making sure I'm not talking too much. So there's a couple of people. April says, I hate that no feedback. Well, sometimes April says sometimes it might be a mistake. She forgot to hit the button. And Danny K says hi. Good to see you, Danny K. Y'all are saying hi to each other. Let's see. Camille is it okay? And Camille has a question for you. Do you prefer editing or shopping?
Ooh, I like them both. I don't edit right now. I'm not saying I would never go back to it. There's only two things that the only two things I didn't like about it. But I mean, you're gonna have issues with any job, so it's not speaking negative of the company or editing in general. But we had to follow the report, and you're getting paid per report. If you get shoppers that aren't following through, something I could have gotten done in an hour can stretch out for 3 or 4 days. And if I'm getting ready to
Mm,
go on vacation, I don't want to follow something for 3 or 4 days. I found I told you earlier I had to take 2 or 3 days off before I went on vacation
yeah, just to make sure you had
just
all
to make
your
sure
stuff
everything was
done.
done. Um, and you'd be surprised, more people than not do not finish a report. It's crazy to me if you're going to go and shop a hotel, spend all that money, and then start the report, maybe do 2 sentences, add a couple pictures, and then leave it sit for 4 days.
Now, okay, so that you mentioned something like how people don't finish the report. Do you have, you know how we do the mystery shopping mishaps? Have you had any editing, I won't say mishaps, but maybe mayhem, like your worst editing experience with something, that that a shopper did or did, I guess they didn't
There's
do?
many, but the
Okay.
one that comes to mind right away is it was just I just happened to be the one that did both of these, so I caught it. There were two shoppers that turned in the same report, and it was terrible.
Oh,
And if it hadn't been that I had done them both, it probably would have never got caught.
caught. Mm-hmm.
But fortunately, it did, and I got a
Somebody.
bonus for catching it.
Oh wow! So like when you catch something like that, they give you a
They
bonus.
gave me just
Now,
they just sent me a quick check as a thank you because it saved them a lot of money.
now what happens to the shopper though? Like
They
what?
deactivate them.
Okay, so they deactivate them because they pretty much submitted an incomplete shop. So
And
what are some things that can get us deactivated, or that you have
cheating
seen gotten people deactivated?
or just continuously not responding to editors. And they're really forgiving, probably too forgiving. But you get somebody who does this 5 times in a row, do we really want them around? Not really. So there are internal ratings with a lot of companies, so be careful. You're gonna, even if they don't deactivate your ratings probably going way down, and you're not going to see the higher end shops with a lot
Hmm.
of companies.
Okay, so that brings another question that I have. So you're talking about the rating. So if you're a new shopper or you have a low rating, I'm assuming there are shops that you see, but is there like a magical gatekeeper or a gate that opens up once you hit a certain level or your shopper rating is so high that only you see? Are there shops that they don't give access to new shoppers or regular shoppers because they're too new or they don't have a high rating? Or they're, I guess, reserve shops, I should
Let's
say.
say you and I had the highest rating they give, we would
Hmm.
we would see the same things. However, you know, I might get contacted for something off the boards that you're not going to get contacted for.
So they don't put all the shops out there. There might be some
Oh,
shops.
I think 99% are, but there are times when there's a special project that'll come up, and they're not going to put it on the board. If they know the regular reliable shopper who's done a bunch of things, they'll reach out to them.
Directly. Okay, well that's good to know. So that lets y'all know keep doing a good job, getting good with your schedulers. Be kind to your editors so they don't have to edit so much stuff. And then
Please.
you might get some access to some in shops. Let's see. There are some more questions and comments. Let's see. So Cynthia's asking, can you do both editing and mystery shopping? I think you kind of answered that. I
Yes.
think, yeah, yeah. So you can.
You
Um,
could not be a scheduler and an editor usually for the same company, at least I'm not saying that's every company, but usually you cannot do both scheduling and editing. But you could be a scheduler and a shopper, editor and a shopper. Even our team leaders, project managers, they shop.
Well, that's good to know. Um, I was going to ask something. You had said something that sparked the question, but I forgot it now. But let me see because we got some more comments coming in. Camille says Cynthia's my editor. She would be great for this. Amusement Advantage was hiring. Cynthia, check out previous Facebook posts. Yes, I don't know if they're still hiring. They might still be hiring, but yes, Amusement Advantage. They were actually looking for a scheduler and an editor as well.
They used to
And
hire for some
then
pretty strict hours. I don't know if that's how they still work, but
say that again.
I looked into them years ago, and I think they're a great company. But I know when they were hiring for editor 5 or 6 years ago, they had some pretty strict hours.
I can't remember what it said because it had been a while, like a few months since I saw the post. But yeah, definitely check it out. And let's see, Cynthia and Camille are talking, but let me see what we have. So Camille is asking, do editors report you using similar sentences over and over again? So I think she's asking.
On the same report, or you mean just using the similar sentences from on every report? Or do you mean within each section of one report?
I'm assuming she's probably meaning on different reports. Probably, probably like what you were saying about somebody having a bad report. But maybe she's saying she has a good report and she might be.
I mean, there's one casual food shop I do, and I know a lot of what I say is the same from report to report, but if things don't change, I can get a little more creative, but it's gonna be the same thing.
Same thing.
I wouldn't worry about that too much. I think as
As long
long
as
as
you're
you're
being honest.
articulate and honest, right?
Yeah. And then April is asking, as an editor, do you see the shops first?
Yes, that's the one perk I miss. We got to pick what we wanted. Now they might not guarantee it because maybe the schedulers and editors got first pick. But let's say a scheduler lived in the same area as me and we both wanted it. It depends who asked first or the rotation maybe, because you still couldn't work out a rotation if there was a 90-day rotation or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I do miss that part of it.
Because you get first dibs on the shops.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Um, okay, April saying she sees the help wanted sign still on the homepage for Amusement Advantage. And yeah, Camille was asking about different reports, and Cynthia was saying that she can't do strict hours, strict hours. So, but yeah, I mean, it's okay. You got to just see what works for you. Well, let me ask this: since we were talking about Amusement Advantage, how would you even find out about if they need an editor on the mystery shopping team?
That's what I was going
Because
to say. Just
mhm,
reach out. If you're looking for work, just reach out.
and see, because I was like, it seems like it's more editors than schedulers. So it seems
I reached out when I went to work for the company I went to, and you know what? I was I've reached out to other companies in the past as well. One of them, it just wasn't going to work with the days and hours, but they were going to take me on.
now since you said you're like an independent contractor, and you said that Amusement Advantage had strict hours, based off of the company you work with or your understanding from other companies, what is the requirement? Because I know you said like you might work and say, hey, I can do 4 shops today or I can do 12 shops today, but are you required to commit to a certain amount of time, or are you required to commit to a certain amount of reports within a certain amount of
Yeah,
time?
like they would release them to us, let's say at 6 a.m. Whoever your team leader was, mine was on California time and I was on East Coast time. So I'd get them different times than other people might. But anyway, we had 24 hours to get them started, hopefully completed, but they preferred 12. But they can only ask so much. And then we'd have a schedule, like what days of the week we were going to work. But, we didn't have to say work from 8 to noon, for example. I could work 4 to 8 at night. I used to teach full time and I would just do them after school.
Okay, okay. On how many days they work, Like you can't say I'm going to work on Saturday and knock out like 12 hours and still
Right.
want
If you're
to put
scheduled on Saturday, they're expecting you
you
there and you better
to
do it because nobody else is going to do those reports. They're going to be in your box to do.
say that again.
They're
Hold,
going to be in my
hold
inbox
on,
to
say that
edit
again
those
because you had
reports.
broke up
Oh, yeah, you were breaking up. I don't know if it's
on
the feed.
Saturday.
Um, anyhow, if I was scheduled to work on Saturday, they'd be in my box. Nobody else is going to see them. So I have to do them.
I see. Okay. Okay. So you could just knock them out. All right. Well, that's good to know. Maybe this will be another avenue that someone can pursue is by doing editing. Is there any other like behind the scenes tea that you want to spill or that we might need to know about
Oh,
or
I'm
that you
sure
wish
everybody
we
wants.
would do?
Oh, that I wish you guys would do. I'm going to go off that for a minute to something else while I'm thinking about it because I know a lot of people have wondered about this, our bonuses and how that's all figured out and things like that.
Hmm.
And hey, why does something never get bonused or why does somebody else get a huge bonus? You've got to keep in mind sometimes the client they have to fill every single location and they've got one outlying location left. They're going to lose that client if they don't get it done. They're going to pay big bucks for that. I got
Wow.
$400 once for a Lowe's shop because it was in the middle of nowhere. That
And
shop
they
was
needed it done.
$12 base pay.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't happen a lot,
But
but
that was nice.
right. And I live in a busy metro area now. I could still get good bonuses, but nothing like when I lived in rural New England.
How does it work with the bonus? Like what dictates how much of a bonus? You know, like there are so like you said that shop that was an anomaly or whatever where you
Right.
got 400. But you like I from my experience, there are certain shops in certain areas where it's like they should know by now they're not going to do them, and then they ultimately end up getting bonus. But what dictates them from not going ahead and giving the bonus initially versus waiting later to actually do a
Well,
bonus?
if they can get it done at base pay, they're not going to want to bonus it. But my understanding is with many of the companies, because like I said, I knew some schedulers that worked for my company that worked for other companies. So
Hmm.
this is the tea I've gotten from them. I can't say it's 100% true, but I'm 99% sure. Um, they would give them so much of a bonus pot, that here's $1,000 and you divvy it up. Well, whatever doesn't get used, they get to keep. So they're going to be
Ooh,
stingy.
okay.
And I don't blame them. I mean, they're going to have to give some of it away, and they know that. But if they can even
Well,
keep $100 in the end, they're going to try to do that.
that makes sense because I'm like, there's a few shops that every month it's gonna get bonus. Like I already know it's going to get. I still don't do it, but I know it's gonna get
Oh,
bonus.
yeah,
So I'm like,
exactly. If
why
I know
not?
it goes for a bonus every month, I'm not doing it when it first comes out.
I don't want to do it at all, but but I'm like, why are they waiting? They know nobody doesn't want to do this shop or whatever. So, but 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 yes, that's good to know. Okay, so they have more money in their pot when it comes to that. All right, let's see. Cynthia says, "Ooh, first dip sounds great." So the editing job is looking more appealing. Camille says, "How much was the company getting paid for the Lowe's shop?" I guess you're asking like, what was the contract?
Yeah, I don't know because it wasn't the company I edited it for.
Okay. And then she's also saying, "How much does the scheduler get paid?" They get paid like similar to you guys with the per job.
I think theirs might even be a little lower. They had a lot higher turnaround rate. But
Hmm.
but with either, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to start solo. You're going to think, why in the world am I even going to do this? But you've got to keep in mind that if you get good at it and know that, you will work your way up pretty quickly. You just got to realize you're going to be working for peanuts in the very beginning for
until
most
you
companies.
until you pay your dues or
You've got to
whatever.
think about the bonuses, what they're going to give you later, as far as, hey, I know I was going to get a bunch of hotel shops to edit because they paid a lot more
Hmm.
if I was good at this. If I'm not good at it or don't do my time and do the low hanging fruit, then I'm not going to get the better stuff.
Now, also too, when this is a question about like the overall mystery shopping company, when that you may or may not know, but when the clients come to you guys,
Mhm.
do they already come with a agenda in mind, or is that part of the recruitment process? They're like, maybe they're like, hey, we have an issue here, that we're trying to solve, and you guys have to come up with a way to mystery shop, ask the question, like come up with the questions and stuff like that, or do they already come with, hey, we need to make sure X, Y, and Z is being done and checked off?
I think it depends on the company. Some of them let us kind of run how it was going to work and just give their feedback a little, maybe a little bit of feedback. But there were a couple of clients we worked with that they dictated what we had to do. And there was this particular pizza place, for example. I can't say too much because that'll really give things away. But it was a hard one to edit. They only let a few of us editors edit it because it was so hard because it got down to the second and
Oh gosh,
it was very difficult to edit. It took a lot longer to do, but it paid so well because it was so difficult.
so difficult. Now you said it pays well for you guys or pays
For
well for
me,
the
it
shopper?
actually paid well for the shoppers as
Okay,
well.
okay. I was gonna say for that headache and everything. Um, so let's see. There's another comment or question, and then we're gonna switch gears a little bit. So Cynthia's asking, bonuses are great. How much or percent is a good negotiation number? You're talking about for amusement advantage or just in general, Cynthia? But we'll see. Um, we'll see what she ends up saying. And if y'all have
I
any
think,
other,
yeah, I think every company is different with that. I think you got to just, once you work for a company a little bit, you kind of get to see how things go with them and what they offer on the boards and kind of go from there.
yeah,
I
and I
tend to
guess
try to go a little high without being outrageous because I don't want them to just say, "Hey, no way." But
yeah.
go high where you can always come back down a little bit if need be.
Now, do you know, with you working behind the scenes with the mystery shopping companies, how like MSPA, the mystery shopping, what professional association,
Hmm.
like about the conferences and that kind of stuff? Did you ever attend any conferences, or because you were an editor, did they encourage y'all to go to the conferences? How did how did that work? Or a little
I
insight
went
about that.
to one conference with the MSPA.
Oh, how was it? How was it? Because I haven't
I
been.
liked it. I'll be honest, I paid for it and then I found out we were going for free and then the MSPA wouldn't refund me. So I won't go to another one for that reason. But the conferences stuff was fine. But I got a little upset with the president because of that.
Like,
I still
don't
have a
take
free
Laura
conference,
off.
I guess, somewhere. Not free, but one that's paid for down the road. I would like to try Shopperfest out eventually. But it was nice. I think you can get, especially if you want to be a scheduler editor, I would highly recommend going. I
Going.
think, yeah, you can let people know who you are directly. It's probably worth it. I don't know that it would be worth it to go over and over, but I think if you go at least one time, it's worth it. If you
Okay.
want to shop, at least, maybe not sporadically, for lack of a better word, like you do, but, somebody who shops a lot, like April, for example, it'd be good for her to
It'll be
go.
a benefit to her. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And Cynthia was saying in general a good negotiation, but I think you kind of answered her question. Um, oh, hold on. No, you didn't
Oh.
answer her question because she was saying bonuses are great. How much of a percentage is a good negotiation number if I wanted to help a scheduler clear the board? I thought you meant for yourself. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I think that that would be pretty individualized because it depends on the part of the country they're trying to fill, how many they need to fill, and you're not going to know if they need
All
to
of that.
fill everything or only a certain percentage. I would definitely reach out to them.
That sounds good. And let's see. Camille is asking, what percentage of shops do you negotiate?
Not as many as I used to when I lived in New England because I'm in an area where there's a lot more shoppers. So I kind of have I'm a little more limited because they have more of a pool to work from. Um, Probably 20 to 25%, where I used to probably do closer to 50% that I would negotiate.
Oh wow. Okay, that's a big decrease. Since you said that, since you're doing the editing, about what percentage of reports would come in that were just acceptable? You didn't have to really do anything versus the percentage that came in that were just horrible. Like, why in the world are they even continuing to be a mystery shopper?
99%, I'm going to have to do something, even if it's minor.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's another editor, it might just be fixing one sentence out of the whole report, but 99% you're going to have to fix something. But honestly, at least 80% you're going to have to edit a decent amount of it.
Really?
Um,
Wow.
I'm not saying it takes forever, just a couple of minutes maybe, but not that I'm spending hours on it, but um, not as many people have good grammar as you think.
Okay. So it's more so grammatical errors.
Right, because we want to keep it in your voice. We don't want to rewrite the report.
Okay. Okay. It's not because they forgot something or something like that or whatever. It's more so grammatical stuff. So do y'all can y'all use like software and just run it through and be like, hey,
No,
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 okay.
at least not
They
where I
want
work.
you
No.
to okay. All right. Um and I'm not sure. Camille has a question. She says, which type of shops do you recommend editing? I'm not really sure.
Well, they're going to give you, you're not going to really have a choice. I could say, well, I prefer this type, but usually they give you, like I said, most of the time they'd give you certain clients to edit. But then, if they're behind on, you got a couple people sick on another team, they may say, hey, we need to help this team out and do these shops today. Can you help out? So, I mean, at any given time, I was probably editing for 4 or 5 different clients.
And that's where you, I guess, your leader came in. So the team leader, what was their overall job?
Sometimes if we were overwhelmed, they'd have to do some editing, but they're not editing on a daily basis. They're fielding all the questions, or can we approve this report because there was this guideline issue,
I see.
things like
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Or hey, they were missing a picture. Can we still take this?
Are the clients pretty lenient about that, especially considering how many shops they're getting?
Um,
Or
well, I would assume so because that's the team leaders or whoever would know that. I wouldn't necessarily know what they're going to take or not take, but I will tell you overall, at least the company I worked with, they don't want to lose these reports. They're going to do everything they can to save the shop. So if
okay.
you make a small mistake, don't just leave it sitting or say, never mind, I'm not going to finish it because I'm not going to get paid. Because you probably will get paid. And the fact that you're honest about a mistake is even better.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, after the reports leave you, after they've been edited, what happens next? What is that part?
I can finalize it and it goes right to the client.
And they're able to look it over and make the
Right.
necessary changes.
Right. And
Yeah.
every once in a while they'd send it back because there was a mistake with the report. But I mean, that's pretty rare. But then that's where we would lose our perfection bonus. Um, and unless somebody made a lot of mistakes, I mean, I think I only had 2 out of the whole 3.5 years, so it's not a problem. But I mean, if you got technically, it was like a 3 strikes per quarter and you're out. But I don't know. I hope not many people had that happen.
Yeah. Now, do you know anything like I know some of the clients they like we were talking before we had came online or when we were talking earlier, we were talking about hey, there was a mystery shopping company that used to do this particular client's mystery shops. Do you have any insight into like why a mystery shopping company might lose a particular client or why or do are other mystery shopping companies trying to poach other clients from different companies, that kind of thing? But yeah, I guess what would cause a mystery shopping company to lose a client?
I know sometimes there's some poaching going on, but I think sometimes just, if they're just not taking care of it and they're getting bad reports coming in all the time, they're not going to keep that company with them. And
Okay.
sometimes companies just drop their program altogether for a while or just did it on a trial basis and, either just, I don't know if they didn't like the work they got or just said, hey, it's too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
a variety of reasons.
Now, what are some of, we'll get to some more fun stuff because we're coming up on our last
Oh, wow.
15 minutes too. I know the time went by fast. What are some of your favorite mystery shops to do?
Oh, me? I like the grocery shops. I know they don't pay well, but as I was telling you, you gotta make it worth your time. I'm single, so those, even though they don't pay much, I never pay for my groceries in a month. I take all those Kroger ones I can. I can cover my grocery bill, but I always, always, always use my cashback credit card that I only use for mystery shops.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I get 2 or 3% back depending if it's a food shop or a grocery shop. And I always scan my receipts into Fetch Rewards and Receipt Hog.
You said you're making
Double,
money
triple
on
dip,
top of
whatever
money.
you need to do to make more money.
Exactly. Now, what mystery shop has been your least favorite or that you don't do or don't like to do anymore?
I used to do the gas station shops. I don't do those anymore. They were a pain and had some physical
So it's not
limitations. So
just me.
I have some physical limitations. I can't do them like I did. But what I liked about them in New England is it was smaller and there were like the gas stations that had 4 pumps a lot of times. And I'd pick all those because it went a lot faster. Where I'm
Mm-hmm.
living
Yeah,
now, there's like 20, 24 pumps. No, I don't want to do that.
exactly. Now, Laura offers mystery shopping coaching, and we're going to talk about that. And she has her a website. I'm going to go ahead and put her website up. But Laura, as I'm doing that too, do you have any tips for any new mystery shoppers or veteran mystery shoppers that you want to share?
Yeah, get a cash back if you're, unless you're irresponsible with credit cards, which I don't tell us here. We don't want to know. I would say get a cash back card that you use just for your shops. First of all, you're not doing that
Yeah.
cash outlay up front. I just pay mine every Friday, so I never worry about it having a balance. And I just put everything on that because um, I'm not a spokesperson for them. I don't care whether you go with them or not. But just for example, I use PNC. I don't even have a bank account with them. They give 4% back on gas, 3% on restaurants, 2% on groceries, and 1% on everything else. So for me, for if you're a mystery shopper, that's a great card to have. For
Yeah, that's a good tip, Laura. That's really good. Any other tips that you might want to share?
a new shopper, I'd only start with 2 or 3 companies, and I would go slow. Not going to make much money at first, but you need to get your feedback and know that you're doing okay. Don't overwhelm yourself. I wouldn't do more than
Yeah.
2 or 3 shops. 3 shops at the most a day if you're really a beginner. I think you can amp that up pretty quick, but I mean, I can do 8 shops
Yeah.
in a day and it's no problem, but I could have never done that as a beginner.
Oh yeah. Well, and yeah, especially if you have a regular job, like like me. Like you definitely don't want to do
When
eight
I was
shops. I
teaching,
don't even know how you could do 8 shops in a day. But
yeah, when I was
if you
teaching,
were
I only did 2 or 3 after school, if that. Depending on what, and if they were easy,
Mhm.
I might do 3, but a lot of times I might only do one.
Yeah. Trust me, I think my limit is 2 in a day. And the times where I have done 3, I was like, yeah, I shouldn't have did that. But yeah. Tell us a little bit about your mystery shopping coaching that you offer because we
Right
want to
now,
support.
I'm offering a special through the end of November, so it's pretty cheap right now if you want to give it a try. I just based on the people I've helped in the past over the years that have individually asked me for help and stuff, that's kind of how I decided just how I would set it up. I have a little like I think it's 4 pages. I'd have to go back and look. It's 4 or 5 pages typed up of tips that you can get under any of the programs. I a newsletter just with the extra tips like I don't have a regular like once a monthish. I've gone as long as 6 weeks, but the tip might be like that PNC card, for example. Um, that's under the program that I'm offering for the bronze is just that and a couple of companies to sign up with. Right now, that one's only $2.99, but it's regularly $4.99. The middle package would offer you, I would answer some emails for you. I'd do a Zoom call. Depending on how many people I've signed up at the time, hey, you might get lucky and it might be just you, but I would have up to 4 people on that call.
So
And that
she
would,
is willing to offer one-on-one help with
right,
you answering your questions, especially if you need some more one-on-one attention.
right.
And you see how kind and generous she's been during this interview and how helpful she's been. So definitely look into it. Her website is at the bottom for you to check out and everything. I'm sorry, I kind of interrupted you. Go ahead, Laura.
No,
Too.
that's okay. And then the high package, the gold package would just offer you everything from the other packages, but it would also give you a one-on-one, more companies to sign up with, and I would answer more emails from you. I think it's 10, because you get back and forth, and I don't mind if there's a few questions in each one. And I said I put a limit there just so people aren't asking 10 questions in every email. But if somebody asks 4 or 5 questions, I'm not going to say no. The limit's 3.
Okay, hold on. That was one too many.
Yeah, I'll tell you if it's too many.
Well, awesome. So check out her site. Like I said, she has some inside information that she can probably help you with. And like I said, some of the stuff we can't really talk about on camera as well. But as you can see, Laura is definitely willing to help. Every time she has joined the live, she's always added something positive to contribute to the conversation. So y'all check her out. Make sure you support her. Let's see. We have a few more comments. Well, more than a few more comments and questions. Let's see what we have.
Nope, we're froze.
Um, I know the chat is like frozen.
Oh, here
Oh,
we go.
I'm frozen. Can y'all see me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. It was me. All right. Camille says recommend negotiating type of shops. Oh, she recommends negotiating shops, for example, Lowe's and apartments. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
April is saying, yes, she loves those cashback rewards. And Cynthia says, I love it. I love the 850 gas station shops, not the mystery reveal. Those are a pain. Yes, we still have some gas station lovers. And Camille also says she loves the cashback credit card, the PNC credit card. Oh, and it was the PNC because Catherine was asking what was the name of the card that Laura recommended. It was the PNC credit card. Camille has a question for you. She says, "How many companies do you shop with?"
Over the years, I've shopped with probably over 100, but I'm signed up. I know with about 150, but regularly on a regular basis, they might vary which companies, but usually maybe 20 different ones a month. I probably use
That you
30 or
regu-
40 of them regularly.
that you shop with? Okay. And that just goes to show you too, for some of y'all who are interested in scheduling and editing jobs, then those are particular companies. I guess so many companies you could potentially sign up with as well. Um, Camille is also asking, what is your budget suggestion goal for a new shopper? I think that
Ooh,
might depend on the shopper.
yeah, I think it depends on the shopper. I mean, years ago when I started, I was a single mom with kids. My budget was low. I wasn't doing the high end shops. I couldn't afford to.
Hmm.
But I think it depends on the shopper. I would tell them I would even recommend at a low end. They're going to need $100 if they want to make any money.
Yeah, or I recently did a video about how to mystery shop with no money or whatever. So go to the ones like might be a storage shop, the ones you're just
Right.
evaluating a service or something like that, but you don't have to spend money. So like the storage shops, the apartment shops, the bank inquiry shops. That way you're not spending any money, but you can still not potentially, you'll still make money. So until you get some money built up, and then like what Laura was suggesting, if you have a cashback rewards credit card, use that in the beginning to do your shops, because it takes a lot of the companies 30 days to pay, and that way you'll have time to pay off your credit card too without you incurring a balance and all that kind of stuff. But also I say shop with Ipsos because they're going to
They
pay
pay quicker,
weekly.
right? They're paying
They
real
pay
quick. Now I
weekly.
got paid a day later last week.
Well, now because we're coming in the holidays, so
Yeah,
they're going to that twice a week payment and
right.
stuff. So yeah, so that's another reason why I like Ipsos. So you can get your money a lot
They are
quicker.
editing
But
things in an hour or two.
you
I'm
said in an
amazed.
hour?
I've had my shops the last few days have been edited within an hour or two. It's
Oh wow, wow. So yeah. So I don't know if you don't necessarily have to have it, but you don't have to spend money to do mystery shopping. For some people who are new, there are shops where you don't have to spend any money. But check out that video because I go into more detail about the different types of shops you can do. I'm gonna get these last few comments and questions. Camille says I did two today, $50 inquiry for cell phone service and $40 high end cookware shop. Awesome, Camille. We know you're getting a bag. And April says, nice. Sunny Nicole, what's up? Good to see you. She says, good evening. Um, and April says, when I started out, I never did shops that required me to pay first. Smart. Now April is getting a huge bag. So that's awesome. Um, Camille is asking, what amount would you suggest as a goal of money to earn a month? I think that depends on the person too. My goal isn't that big. Um, but like I said, I do it sometimes. So, but yeah, whatever you're willing to make. And then Cynthia says you can spend no money with phone shops. Everything. I don't see any more questions or comments at this particular point. Um, Laura, were there
yeah.
any final thoughts or anything else you want to share with us before we wrap it up?
Like I said, just keep in mind there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. So keep that in mind when you're negotiating. It doesn't mean go low, but if somebody tells you to know your outrageous price, you got to kind of keep in mind what's going on. Who else has to be paid for this? Are they just, some schedulers just don't want to pay it. You'll get a feel for which schedulers can be stingy and who might not be, but I think most of them are pretty fair. There's very few schedulers I've seen over the years that have just been, for lack of a better word, rotten, and those ones are no longer around.
um,
But be nice because they work for a lot of companies, most of them.
yes,
So
yes,
don't make them angry.
yes. Let me ask you this: since you said that, are there conferences for you guys, like for the schedulers and the editors? The MSPA is like more so for, I guess, the shoppers or whatever. But do
It's for
y'all have
everybody. I
like?
mean, MSPA,
Oh, it
it's
is.
for
Okay.
everybody. Yeah. If there's a separate thing going on that's newer that and I'm not aware of it.
So at the MSPA conference, do they have training for the schedulers and the editors as well as like how I see well I'm seeing that they have like shopper training, but do
Well,
y'all
right. We
also
might
do
go out and talk about things or have a Q&A, but no, there's no training that I'm
training or
aware of.
anything like that? Okay.
I
Okay.
think they do,
Um,
they do video shopping at a lot of times on those. They'll have a separate training for video shopping, which I've not done, but I might do eventually. And I will totally get with Camille about that if I decide to do it in the future. That's something
yeah.
I would not be able to help with. I'll tell you that right now. I don't mentor for video shopping.
And if you're new, you probably don't want to start there anyway.
No, I think you
I
need
don't
some
recommend.
experience, and it's something maybe I should have done a long time ago, but
Yeah.
didn't
I
have the
don't
funds
recommend you
until more
starting
recent
there.
years.
Yes. Um, let's see. April had a comment. She says, pre-COVID, we used to have a lot of gym tour shops. I miss those. They have them in my area. I don't really care to do them, but
They're around. They're just not around as much.
as much as they used to be. So, but yes. Well, I want to thank Laura for giving us a little peek behind the scenes of what it's like to work for a mystery shopping company. It definitely helped answer some of my questions I had. It definitely shed light onto the workings behind the scenes and what's going on. So I hope it was helpful to you guys as
So
well. And Thank you, Laura, for your time and for coming on. I greatly appreciate it, and you have been a wonderful guest. Um, like I
Why,
said,
thank you.
her Oh, you're welcome. Her website is still going at the bottom. I'm also going to put it in the comment section in case if you can't, if it's hard for you to see it as it's moving along. It's Mystery Shopping Mentor, no S .com, Mystery Shopping Mentor. Get with Laura, and she will be happy to help you on your mystery shopping journey. Yes. And they are saying, thank you, Laura. All right.
Very
So that
welcome.
is
And I
all we have. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I just saw Camille's comment up there, the suggestion of the order to go through on the type of shops, and I would agree with her.
Oh, hold on. I must have missed that. But hold on. Oh, she says, I would suggest basic shops, apartment shops, okay, inspection shops, and video and route shops for you to do as a new shopper. Okay. Thank you, Camille. All right. So until next week, we will be back with another mystery shopping Q&A. Thank you once again to Laura for joining us, and y'all have a good night and have a good evening.
Thank you. And just real quick, I just wanted to say if you were interested in the coaching, I'm not pushing anybody by any means, but if you are interested, I do have specials going on that pricing through the end of November.
Yes, so take
You'll
advantage of it. And you know there's a lot of mystery shops coming out or have been out for November with the shopping season, and also we're coming into Christmas time for December. Or if you
right.
just want to get right for the new year, take advantage of her shop so you can be prepared to jump on those. MysteryShoppingMentor.com. All right,
Thank
good night.
you.
Oh, you're welcome. Good
And
night,
thank you,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.